not gone back to Parliament. I was since fired from being chairperson of the delegated committee, being allied to the Deputy President by Uhuru Kenyatta. And now, to this date, I have been checking with my colleagues who are in the committee. They said he has never come back to do it. So first of all, Ekuru Etiani should be on this show and explain to Kenyans how many loans he retired. Because some of the rumors we hear and allegations, which I believe to be true, is that some of the borrowing is from NCBA Bank, which belongs to Uhuru Kenyatta's family. And this is the same NCBA Bank that when there was a merger between NIC Bank and CBA Bank, they got a waiver of 300 million shillings in tax. Well, so this is state capture.
Substantiate that.
Yes, I can. It was in the Kenya Gazette that they did get the 300 million waiver.
The argument can be at times that
but they are free to take me on after the show. Send your lawyers to send me a letter if you think I'm not telling the truth. We'll need to substantiate that. Yes. Yeah, certainly. This is not the views of Citizen TV. It's my views. And if they think I'm wrong, you're welcome to have your lawyer send me a letter after the show.
Parliament, though, at times has been put at the center of this because you keep raising the debt ceiling, you know, and as much as you say it was Ukuri Yatani who had requested for it, which is now at, what, 10 trillion, I believe, the debt ceiling has been raised.
And I don't know if Parliament approved that, but 9 trillion was what was approved.
So what role can they play to reverse that trend? For instance, because you can't keep saying that he put pressure, he requested, so we went ahead in good faith that this is what we needed to do as a country. Yeah. But how can that be reversed from Parliament's perspective?
I think what has to happen, there's not much that can be done between now and the next elections. I think you have to wait for the 13th Parliament to come in and the new government to come in. The new government, and know these facts. A lot of research and data and budget analysis has been done. Recently, myself and a lot of the people in my political party, the Kenya Kwanza Alliance, had a meeting with the civil society. They called themselves the Okoa Uchumi Coalition. And we had a candid discussion. And they basically said, you're going to inherit a country with huge debt. But there are certain mitigating measures that can be undertaken. The good thing about having a new government is that you're able to go back to the international institutions because you're a new body corporate, so to speak, and you're able to negotiate it. So that you can't take control of it, and you can't do something about it. The problem now is nothing is being done about it.
Harman, let me bring you in here because the explanation has been we borrow to invest into development projects and whatnot, but also are these projects giving us a return and value for our money? That's the bigger question.
Thank you, Vic, for having me on board this morning. I think the country is an economic mess, no doubt about it. And you cannot even address the debt issue in isolation. You have to look at the economy within the broad political spectrum of the country. As you listen to politicians, you know we are in a big problem because you cannot solve our problem through blame. In fact, my friend Gladys here cannot escape blame. They are the ones who set everything in motion in Parliament. And as she rightly puts it, they approved the debt ceiling. I was on a show with guys who had just come from that Parliament and asked them, do you even know how much money Kenya owes?
Just correction, at that time, we did not approve the debt ceiling. We approved the rescheduling and retiring of domestic debt to international debt.
That was the reason given by the CS seeking approval was we want to deal with commercial debts. In fact, it's not even so much domestic debt, it was commercial debts. Right. That was the reason for seeking the ceiling change. And so that was then. But even as recently as a couple of weeks ago, they increased the same debt ceiling to 10. So really, we can't solve our problems through excuses and through blames. This is a big problem. The country has to sit down and address this. Borrowing, there's nothing wrong with borrowing. Everybody borrows. The projects, like you say, Vicky, really, are they the projects we need? Are they costed properly? Do they have the intended benefits? Can you read through them and see this is a project that will serve this country so that even as we pay, this is worth it? So these questions must be addressed by Kenyans. And therefore, to me, if you asked me, the way to deal with this is to look at the incoming government. And it must be a government that is committed to solving the economic challenges the country is facing, aware that some of these challenges are not even of our own making. Most of these we have pretty little we could do about. Yeah. International pressure, international crude oil prices, the Russian-Ukraine war, and the dollar holding all currencies in the world, really strangling them, literally. Yeah. So there are very many issues, and I think my challenge to Raila Odinga and William Ruto is, where are they now with just about 40 days to the election? I'm not seeing any inspiration coming from their camps. Where are the teams they are put in place? In developed democracies, about 2-3 months to an election, there's a team of people helping the incoming president. In fact, in America, I think it's by law or practice that 60 days to the election, you must present a team that is helping you come up with government. Because if you are going to come up with government in a hazard way, just because you have won an election, you can put the country at danger. So the challenge to me, in short, is where is Ruto's team? Where is Raila's team working on how they will take over government and how the so-called famed 100 days they are going to handle the economy? That, to me, is a challenge. We're not blaming people, not excuses. That will not help this country.
No, certainly. We've been seeing a lot of blame games and exchange, of insults at times from various camps. But, let's focus in on an issue that is a result of the debt issue, which is the cost of living. That has been a huge, huge concern for Kenyans' protests. Yesterday, we saw Azimio flag bearer Raila Odinga saying that some camps are playing populist politics with the cost of living issue. And not saying that he's dismissing it entirely, but, trying to absolve the Jubilee administration of at least some control in what's happening here. But do you feel that the government is completely powerless in dealing with the cost of living issue, or there's still some things that could be done in the interim?
Thank you. In terms of the government, this is a government that the people elected. Until we have the next election and the next government, they're still the ones to deal with whatever issues that are coming up. And I believe, looking at it from civil society angle, what we would prefer to see is a government engaging the citizens in terms of public participation, where there are any interventions to be made. I've had my colleagues talking about debt ceiling. We would want to see such decisions being put to the citizens, let them have a say in what is going to affect them eventually. And having said that, you have talked about now campaigns. What I would say from our angle, what you're looking at is that each and every candidate should be given an opportunity to sell their agenda. And this should be done in an impartial way in terms of whatever forum they're given. Every person should have equal opportunities. There should not be any victimization. And then let the people now decide from the manifestos that are presented and see whom they would prefer. So when they're exercising their constitutional right to vote, they're well informed and they get the government that they would want.
That was almost a direct attack on the Kenya Kwanza camp, if you will, Honorable Boss, that they're playing populist politics when it comes to the cost of living. What is your side doing to respond to this issue? I know there's the economic forums that have been going on over the last couple of weeks, trying to engage Wananchi on the ground to find out what do you want out of this next administration. But what is being practically done to address that issue?
First of all, just responding to Professor Munyora, I think you are in a very good position. You can be academic and you can make theories about certain issues, but they're not factual. First of all, to think that there is no economic team behind any of the presidential candidates is being presumptuous because you're not part of it. I know the Deputy President has a huge team of professionals with economists, and you have seen them present during the economic forums. As the Wananchi raise the issues, they take the notes and decide what ails the economy in that area, because the economy in every area is different and being done. So something is being done about it. Yes, and I'll probably brief you after this so that you know. I agree with Chairman here that there should be more public participation. It's actually what I said exactly when I spoke at the beginning. Right. There has to be parliamentary oversight. There has to be public participation in taking debt. It's very important because then it holds the leaders accountable. If you see what is Kenya Kwanza doing about it, we are doing something about it. Hence the reason why we didn't have a rushed manifesto being presented to the public. Instead, we started from the bottom. So we are walking the talk about the bottom-up economic model. We have gone back to every county and talked to the people in that county. People there will say, our mainstay is tea. These are the challenges. Our mainstay is coffee. This is the challenges. The coast are talking about it. Let's take the example of the economic forums that are held at the coast region. First of all, it's a fact that Kenya's biggest imports are two things: petroleum and edible oil, cooking oil. The coast can grow can make palm oil. So then you have an economic forum discussing with them, how do we promote the growing and pressing of palm oil so that we stop our heavy reliance on imported edible oil, and therefore saving our foreign exchange, which means we are able to deal with our debt. You go to other regions and you say, why is it that we have a challenge with producing sufficient maize, and therefore we end up importing maize? It's because we do not have the cost of inputs, the cost of fertilizer, which is unsustainable, the cost of artificial fertilizer, which is unsustainable, is what ails us. What do we do about it? Again, you look at the milk farmer, the same thing. So each region, so the bottom-up economic model is not a one-size-fits-all. Hence the reason why you must go back to those regions. And this particular election, as has been clear, and the Kenya Kwanza's team started it, it's about the economy and the economy and the economy again. And that's what Kenyans are talking about. Whoever will win this election is whoever has a better economic plan, an economic recovery strategy for Kenyans. So Kenyans are alive to the fact that our economy is in trouble. So all we are discussing is what is the economic recovery strategy, which is going back to our economic units at the county level, be able to improve that. When we talk about the bottom-up economic model, it's also an economic recovery strategy. Because like we said, there is 16 million Kenyans who are, the Kenya Bureau of Statistics calls them unlicensed, which means they sell their wares on the roadside, sell their vegetables on the roadside, and so on. This particular group does not pay tax. But if they can be given affordable credit, a secure, safe working environment to sell their wares, if they don't have to borrow from Fuliza and pay 2,000%, then they get easy borrowing, as suggested we have in our manifesto, which is the Hustler Fund. Then they will be able to be more productive, and then you're able to they will be documented. So they'll not be unlicensed anymore. They'll be documented, which means they will pay tax and levies, which therefore we are increasing the pool of where we are getting our tax base. So part of the strategy is to embrace tax justice, that people are supported to produce more so that they can be able to pay more. So there are several strategies that can be put in place. So we at Kenya Kwanza are not just talking about dealing with the debt problem. We have gone to every single county. No other political party has done that. The manifestos they have produced are manifestos they produced a month ago because it was a copy and paste. It was a mutation of BBI, Big Four, and then a late reaction to the economic challenges that Kenyans are facing. So it has to be people who have to tell us how. I listened to Raila Odinga yesterday on Citizen TV, and he said that he has advised Uhuru Kenyatta on the cost of living.
Right.
But he did not tell us how he told Uhuru Kenyatta that the cost of living can be brought down. I wanted to hear the how. I was paying attention. He just said, I've advised him. In his manifesto, he should have told us the how. In our manifesto that's coming up tomorrow, you will see the how. Yes, when you see us going to speak to the civil society, these are brilliant Kenyan researchers who have been undertaking budget analysis for years. And therefore, we actually have a whole bank of great ideas and solutions which are Kenyan homegrown that we can leverage on and work on. And this is an ongoing conversation, but it is definitely top of the agenda. I was just looking at some of the documents that I have here from discussions with the economic team, and they tell you that in 2014-2015 financial year, our budget deficit was 99%. Today, it is negative 16%. So it's really, we know it is a problem,
right.
But it is fixable if we are focused and deliberate. Remember that since March 2018, we went on a program of Badilisha Katiba instead of Badilisha Uchumi. So we lost time. We spent 2 years sending a task force that cost us billions of shillings around the country to find out how to change the constitution in order to create 4 positions. Imagine if we had used a task force of economic experts to go around the country for 2 years to find out how to fix our economy. We would not be where we are today.
We have to leave it there, Honorable Boss. But of course, we'll come back for more discussions on the dailies and what was said yesterday by the Azimio flag bearer, Raila Odinga. Let's take a short break here on Daybreak. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.